Wichita be one of the most affordable places for renters to live in the U.S.?
A new survey from the New York Times says it is, but what do local experts have to say? Here's Keenan Pinn with more.
Wichita, Kansas, once again in the top spot when it comes to the most affordable place for renters in the United States. According to the New York Times, Wichita holds the top spot for available rentals for under $1,000 a month, with Wichita sitting at more than 50%.
Across the city, you see this general story that housing is pretty affordable, but if you look at the different textures across different neighborhoods and census tracts, you see that some areas have less affordability.
But what really determines what's affordable? Research economist with Wichita State University, Craig Compton, is a renter himself. He says things like population size and even location within a city plays a part in what determines an affordable living arrangement. And income even more so.
So the median income overall is going to be around $62,000, but if you look at renters specifically, their income is going to be slightly lower than that. So the median renter income is around $45,000. You want to say that 1/3 of your take-home pay is what you're spending on rent, and anything above that is rent burdened or unaffordable.
Compton also says that when it comes to affordability in Wichita, the population has kept things mellow compared to other cities in the Midwest.
Overall, I would agree that rent in Wichita is very affordable when you compare it with other major cities. But it doesn't mean that there's not work to be done in terms of making rent affordable for those lower income units.
In Wichita, Keenan Pinn, 12 News.
New at 5 today, we got a chance to meet